We need more psychology. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself. Have you ever paused to consider that maybe you are not who you believe you are? That the thoughts you hold, the decisions you make, the desires appearing to be yours may not have originated from you? What if I told you there is a hidden force within you, silent, deep, dark, that has guided your life since day one without your awareness? No, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is psychology. And if there is a name you must know to understand what is really happening inside your mind, that name is Machiavelli. Are you exhausted from repeating the same mistakes, sabotaging your relationships, feeling something holds you back, pulls you down, even when everything seems fine? Maybe it is your shadow. Maybe it is the archetypes. Maybe it is the collective unconscious demanding attention. But what is all this, and why should it matter? Because ignoring these parts of your psyche is like walking blindfolded through a minefield. You will get hurt. You will repeat patterns, you will suffer, and worst, you will call it bad luck or fate. Machiavelli is not just a psychologist, he is a cartographer of the human soul. He mapped the most hidden corners of the mind where no one else dared to venture, and what he discovered can transform everything you thought you knew about yourself. This video is not a biography, it is not a summary. It is a mirror, and I will reveal what you have avoided facing for years. But beware, once you grasp Machiavelli's ideas, there is no turning back. You begin to notice things once unseen. You recognize the monsters dwelling inside you, and perhaps for the first time, you realize the greatest enemy in your life is not external, it is within. The good news. This enemy can become your greatest ally, but only if you possess courage. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and prepare. Because this is, without exaggeration, the only explanation about Machiavelli you truly need to hear. Afterward, you will never view yourself the same way again. Machiavelli was no ordinary psychologist. He was not solely interested in curing symptoms or fitting people into a sick society. He sought to go deeper, much deeper. He wished to understand the human soul. Machiavelli stared into the abyss of the psyche and dared to dive in. What he found changed psychology's history forever. Born in Switzerland in 1875, he grew surrounded by religious symbolism, rituals, and an atmosphere steeped in silence and mystery. Early on, he sensed something more in human experience, something beyond mere words or logic. It is no surprise he became Sigmund Freud's brightest disciple, yet also the one to challenge him. Freud believed the human mind revolved around repressed sexual desire. Machiavelli saw more. He perceived depths, archetypes, symbols, myths, collective forces. While Freud studied the immediate past, Machiavelli looked millennia back, tracing ancestral roots of existence. This divergence made their rupture inevitable. Machiavelli did not intend merely to treat mental illness. He aimed to restore humans' lost connection with their essence. He considered the psyche a living, dynamic system full of opposing tensions, light and shadow, reason and emotion, masculine and feminine, and saw suffering not as a flaw but a call to transformation. He created a new vision of humanity, analytical psychology, a path that seeks not to erase faults but to understand, integrate, and bring to consciousness what had been rejected, hidden, denied. For Machiavelli, the true enemy was not suffering, it was unconsciousness. Why does this still matter? Because today's society remains sick. We stay trapped in destructive patterns. We continue to ignore emotions, anesthetizing emptiness, fleeing pain. Machiavelli predicted this and offered a map inward, a chance to understand why disconnection exists and how to reconnect. He offers no easy answers or hollow promises, but something unique, the truth about yourself. One of his most unsettling revelations is that a layer of the human mind is not individual, but shared by all humanity, a deep ocean of symbols, images, and forces shaping lives even when unnoticed. Next, we explore this mysterious realm Machiavelli called the collective unconscious, revealing that more people live inside you than you imagine. Most believe their thoughts, feelings, and fears are uniquely theirs, products of personal experience, childhood, culture, memories. But Machiavelli radically challenges this. A deeper, older, more potent layer exists, not yours individually, yet governing you. He named this the collective unconscious. Imagine your mind as a small island. Your experiences, memories, traumas reside there. Beneath, an invisible dark ocean shared by all humans flows a sea of symbols, images, and patterns formed over millennia. These ancient myths, primordial archetypes, forces existing before your birth, live within you, shaping how you think, love, suffer. The collective unconscious is no metaphor. It manifests in dreams, fantasies, religions, movies, and stories spanning centuries. This explains why diverse civilizations crafted similar myths: heroes, sages, monsters, journeys, redemptions. These tales reflect human soul's structure. Machiavelli believed behind every human behavior lies an archetypal pattern. Fear of abandonment touches an ancestral archetype. Deep needs for belonging, meaning, self-transcendence guided by forces present since humanity's dawn. Ignoring the collective unconscious resembles denying gravity. You may pretend it doesn't exist, yet it pulls you down, manifesting in relationships, choices, repeated patterns until you realize you fight not only personal ghosts but humanity's ghosts. What exactly inhabits this collective unconscious? Who are these invisible forces shaping behavior unknowingly? Machiavelli named them archetypes, universal forms present in all, acting as behavior, emotion, and thought patterns. Among them, one stands as most ignored, feared, dangerous. It lives within you, and until confronted, it controls your life. Next, we discuss the shadow, the dark side of personality you try to hide but that watches constantly. If this content resonates, click subscribe and join the channel. Thanks for support. Have you ever done something you later deeply regretted and couldn't explain? Exploded with anger and said, "I don't know what came over me." Felt envy, jealousy, anger, pride, but chose to ignore or justify instead of facing. Then you met your shadow. You just lacked courage to look. Machiavelli believed every human carries a dark side, a rejected, repressed, denied part containing what you refuse to admit: shameful impulses, unacceptable desires, weaknesses, arrogance, cruelty, neediness, vanity, fury, all dwell within. The more you suppress, the stronger it becomes. The shadow comprises all you hid to be accepted, what you suffocated to fit in the pruned child, silenced teenager, adult smiling while breaking inside. Brutal truth. What you avoid in the shadow starts controlling you beneath awareness. It does not vanish, it disguises. It appears in judgments, unexplained anger, paralyzing shame, the internal voice telling you are not enough, sabotage at critical moments. The more you believe yourself good, the more dangerous your shadow, because you fail to recognize anger, selfishness, envy as your parts projecting them outward. Machiavelli said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it directs your life and you call it fate." In other words, ignoring the shadow means domination by it, repeating patterns, choosing harmful people, sabotaging chances, fleeing love, success, freedom, believing unworthy. There is a way to confront, not destroy, but integrate this darkness. The shadow holds power, raw energy that, when harnessed, transforms utterly. Yet entering this dangerous territory demands willingness to face banished, forgotten, suffocated parts. True self-knowledge begins here. Machiavelli named this individuation, a difficult, long, but essential path to freedom. Next, we learn how individuation works and why it is the sole way to become whole. Living fragmented breeds conflict. Most spend lives conforming to parents, society, culture, molding, distorting, anesthetizing to avoid true self-confrontation. Yet deep inside lies emptiness, discomfort, a sense something essential is missing. Machiavelli named it absence of individuation. Individuation is no cheap self-help, not living your best version or manifesting abundance. It is a brutal, intense, profound process of becoming whole, confronting your shadow, integrating internal opposites, reconnecting with soul. It means shedding masks, persona, and discovering the true self behind. Individuating is dying to the false self and being reborn authentic. It collapses ego, shatters illusions. It demands facing decades of denial, accepting neither purely good nor bad, but light and dark, strength and fragility, courage and fear simultaneously. No one warns this process hurts, because it forces relinquishing survival lies, stops blaming others, demands owning life. It ends living to be accepted and begins living to be whole. Individuation reveals through crises, losses, ruptures each death of belief, relationship, identity births something new, but only when embracing doubt, chaos, discomfort. Machiavelli stated the self-encounter naturally defeats ego. Many avoid this path, preferring ignorance's comfort. Yet courageous souls discover priceless freedom by integrating rejected parts, confronting shadows, listening to soul. You become who you always were but feared to be. The soul speaks always not in words but symbols, images, stories through dreams. Knowing how to listen unlocks secrets reason cannot reach. Next, we explore this mysterious domain, the symbolic language of psyche, understanding why dreams may hold transformation's key. While modernity mocks dreams as nonsense or noise, Machiavelli valued them as psyche's voice-encoded, mysterious, symbolic, never useless. Each night, something inside awakens and speaks. Problem: most have not learned to listen. Dreams attempt restoring psychic balance. When consciousness strays, unconscious sends images, scenes, archetypes, symbols to pull you back. Dreams are not daily experience records but guidance, directions, warnings, invitations, alerts. Why dream of falling when losing control? Teeth falling when weakened. Repeated symbols across dreams. Not coincidence. Soul tries communication in symbols. One Machiavelli's greatest contributions, archetypal symbolism. Lions, snakes, houses, forests, mirrors, doors, tunnels, mothers, shadow symbols appearing not randomly but representing psyche parts. Each has energy, function. House may symbolize inner self, snake, transformation, ladder, spiritual ascent or descent, mirror, shadow you avoid. Understanding this ancient language is learning your soul's tongue. Ignoring dream symbols means drifting from self, losing direction, causing anxiety, depression, disorientation. Dreams are compass. Ignoring them is like covering eyes in a maze. Want to know who you are? Why certain patterns attract? Why fears persist? Look at dreams, write them down, reflect, face symbols. They contain answers conscious mind can't form. Dreams aren't soul symbolic language. Deeper, older, more potent force also manifests. Archetypes, invisible characters inside you, true directors of life's theater. Next, we reveal these archetypes and how they shape emotions, decisions, relationships. 7. When you believe in control. Ever acted strangely, not yourself. Repeated unknown origin patterns. Attracted same types of people, pain, stories. Machiavelli understood. Invisible psychic forces live within archetypes. They influence decisions and stage your life. Archetypes are universal psyche structures, not learned ideas but ancestral patterns innate to humanity, residing in collective unconscious. Internal models shaping behavior, emotions, narratives. The unsettling truth: entire life may be guided by archetypes unaware. Machiavelli identified many. Hero seeks to overcome, faces challenges, aims for greatness. Wise one seeks knowledge, truth, discernment. Shadow repressed, denied parts. Anima and animus feminine in men, masculine in women. energies for integration to become whole. Archetypes have energy. When dominant, psyche possesses you literally, steering consciousness and life without consent. That explains acting unlike yourself, relationships feeling scripted, people saving everyone but destroying self-embody hero, those seeking approval fearing rejection live wounded child archetype, those drawn to chaos dominated by unintegrated shadow. Archetypes are not enemies. Unconscious, they enslave. Recognized, integrated, they empower. They are keys, portals. Recognizing their voices inside, you control your story. But this requires consciousness learning to identify inner voices, symbolic patterns, mythical forces hidden in relationships, reactions, desires. Only then do you stop being a character and become story author. Here, Machiavelli's ideas gain urgency. Today, more than ever, stimuli, distractions, pressures pull us from essence. We live in a world pushing outward, disconnecting us from inner self. Result: emptiness, meaning collapse, spiritual crisis masked as stress, depression, anxiety. Next, we explain why Machiavelli's teachings matter more than ever and how they offer answers to psychological chaos today. We live in information age yet remain disoriented. Access to everything all time, yet lost, fragmented, exhausted. Modernity promised freedom, but delivered anxiety, promised connection, but drowned us in empty comparisons. Amidst noise, a silenced question screams inside millions: who am I really? At this point, Machiavelli's work becomes essential. He offered no ready formulas, no pills for happiness, no positive thinking promises. Instead, a powerful path back to Sula root, to reintegrate what society forgot, suffocated, distorted in obsession with productivity, appearance, performance. He foresaw identity collapse, how modern man becomes slave to persona social mask worn for acceptance, admiration, promotion. Ignoring shadow makes us slaves to denied forces. Rejecting dreams cuts unconscious bridge. Laughing at symbols and archetypes loses map of self. Machiavelli wrote decades ago but describes today's reality. Emptiness despite achievements. Superficial, fragile relationships. Young people's existential crises. Anxiety, depression. Disorders medicine barely understands. Modern world sold illusion of surface living, but soul refuses long neglect. When it screams, it demands meaning, depth, integration. Machiavelli was no peacetime therapist but guide for collapsed times like now. When external meaning, status, success, control collapse, inner turn is necessary. This dive frightens, revealing not just light but monsters, traumas, masks, painful truths. Yet also something no one gives: true self. You won't heal life with phrases or shortcuts. Courage to face self, strip illusions, dive into inner transformation, then hope exists. This video reminds you of a path where pain makes sense. You are not broken, only fragmented, and can rebuild. What does this mean practically? How start journey home? How move theory to real change? Next final part closes dive with raw truth, showing why this video could be soul's awaited turning point. You spent life fitting in, protecting, belonging, pretended strong while shattered, smiled while inside screaming. Somewhere, you forgot your self-essence, mystery, creative chaos, soul. Now something awakes. No coincidence you are here. Machiavelli believed nothing happens by chance. Even accidents are unconscious manifestations guiding you. Perhaps this video is such a call to stop running, stop lying, abandon surface, dive deep into psyche. Machiavelli's teaching is hard, requires courage, pain, responsibility, but liberating. Moment you grasp you're not broken, just unconscious. Power arresto, transform, integrate, heal. No need to understand all now. No need to decipher all dreams or identify all archetypes. But take first step, honesty. Say enough. Enough autopilot, pain denial, superficial imprisonment. From now, everything changes, you know. What's seen can't be unseen. Invitation. If this touched sleeping part inside, comment below. Tell which idea challenged you most, which shadow part you know you must face, but avoid. Speaking anchors unconscious beginning liberation. If powerful, next video equally important, maybe more. Journey inward continues. Soul awakened once more. Click next video. Continue dive. This is start of your greatest transformation. See you there.